Hey GH fans, buckle up for another wild ride as we dive into the latest General Hospital spoilers, drama, and jaw-dropping surprises. Let me start by saying how shocked I was when I learned about the plan involving Lucy. Brook agreeing to work with Lucy to frame Willow for that terrible accident with Jordan feels like a desperate move born from fear. We all remember that night when Brook had been drinking, nearly hit Jordan, and then drove away. Tracy has been working so hard to keep that secret buried, protecting her granddaughter with every ounce of her considerable influence. Tracy has always been a force of nature on the show, and her decision to support this scheme against Willow does not surprise me one bit. She has a long history of making bold, sometimes questionable calls when it comes to family loyalty. I personally think Tracy sees this as another way to shield Brook, even if her judgment has led the Quartermaine family into trouble more times than I can count. It is classic Tracy, and that is exactly why we love to watch her. What fascinates me most right now is how this plan to pin the accident on Willow is starting to show cracks. The new developments suggest that Brook's obsession with protecting herself is creating fresh complications. The evidence she and Lucy are trying to use looks increasingly flimsy, almost like it is slipping through their fingers. I have seen this pattern before in Port Charles. When characters become too fixated on covering their tracks, they often overlook the little details that eventually unravel everything. In Brook's case, her growing fixation seems to be making the planted proof even weaker. It is almost as if every step she takes to strengthen her position actually weakens it. Will this obsession blind her completely? I believe it already is, and that is what makes the story so gripping for longtime viewers like me. I have to admit, part of me feels sorry for Brook. She has come so far, especially with her marriage to Chase, and the joy of welcoming little Phoebe into their lives. Chase has always been such a steady, honorable man, the kind of character who reminds us of the best parts of the show's history. He has stood by Brook through thick and thin, and he is fiercely protective of Willow too. That combination is going to create real fireworks. If Chase discovers that his own wife helped orchestrate a trap against Willow, especially after everything they have been through together as a couple, I cannot imagine him staying silent. He defended Willow before, and he will surely do it again. This could push him closer to Willow in ways that threaten Brook's entire world. Have I seen marriages survive bigger betrayals on General Hospital? Yes, but the road back is never easy, and the pain feels very real. One thing I keep wondering is whether Tracy's support will actually help or only make things worse. Tracy has a reputation for clever schemes, but her instincts have failed the family spectacularly in the past. Remember some of her earlier decisions that backfired? This feels similar. She might think framing Willow is brilliant, but I suspect it will only add fuel to the fire. The cover-up already seems destined to fail, and with each new episode, the complications are piling up higher for Brook. The new adjustments in the storyline, particularly around Brook's intensifying worries and the shaky nature of her planted evidence, prove that her actions are creating more problems than they solve. It is like watching a slow-motion train wreck, but in the best possible way for fans who crave drama. I truly appreciate how the show continues to explore these layered relationships. Willow has endured so much already, and seeing her potentially caught in this web makes me hope she comes out stronger. She deserves peace after everything she has faced. At the same time, I do not want to see Brook completely destroyed. She is family, after all. And General Hospital has always been about forgiveness and growth, even after the darkest moments. My personal take is that this storyline highlights how fear can push even good people toward terrible choices. Brook is scared of losing everything, her freedom, her marriage, her chance at motherhood, and that fear is driving her deeper into trouble. What do I think will happen next? I predict Chase will start investigating once he senses something is wrong. He is too smart and too devoted to justice to let false accusations against Willow slide. When the truth surfaces, and I believe it will, Brook may face not only a broken marriage, but also legal consequences for fleeing the accident scene. The adoption of Phoebe could hang in the balance too, which breaks my heart to even consider. Yet, these high stakes are exactly why I have stayed loyal to the show for decades. The writers know how to make us care deeply about these characters. Another aspect I find interesting is how Lucy fits into all this. She is always full of big ideas, sometimes helpful and sometimes chaotic. Partnering with Brooklyn feels like a risky alliance that could explode at any moment. If Lucy decides to save herself by revealing what she knows about Brooklyn's drinking that night, everything could crumble faster than anyone expects. I keep asking myself, can Brooklyn pull back before it is too late? The current direction suggests she is doubling down instead, and that stubbornness might be her undoing. Still, I hold out hope for a twist that allows some redemption. General Hospital has surprised me many times before with heartfelt reconciliations. Watching these episodes feels like catching up with old friends who keep making the same mistakes in new ways. It keeps the show fresh and exciting even after all these years. The tension surrounding Brooklyn's plan, Tracy's misguided support, and the fragile evidence is building beautifully. Every new hint about Brooklyn's obsession and the weakening proof adds another layer of suspense. I cannot wait to see how Chase reacts when the pieces start falling into place. Will he choose loyalty to his wife or stand up for what is right? My guess is his sense of justice will win, but love has a funny way of complicating things on this show. For fans who have followed these characters through births, deaths, weddings, and scandals, this current arc feels like a natural evolution. It reminds us that actions have consequences, yet the door for forgiveness is rarely fully closed. I am thoroughly entertained and a little anxious about what comes next. Brooklyn is playing a dangerous game, and the complications keep multiplying. If the writers continue in this direction, we are in for some powerful emotional scenes that will have longtime viewers talking for weeks. Chase has always been such a protective and honorable man. He stands up for what is right, and he has shown time and again how fiercely he defends Willow. If Brooklyn and Lucy succeed in making Willow look guilty, I am certain Chase will immediately take Willow's side. That loyalty runs deep with him. What worries me most is what happens when Chase starts digging deeper. He is smart and determined. Once he follows the trail and discovers that his own wife is behind the setup against Willow, the anger will be overwhelming. After everything Brooklyn did to help them adopt little Phoebe, this betrayal will cut Chase to the core. I can already picture the confrontation, his face full of disbelief turning into pure fury. It is the kind of moment General Hospital does so well, where years of built-up trust suddenly shatter. One of the most shocking new adjustments in the story seems to point toward Chase fighting for full custody of Phoebe himself. Imagine that. After all the love and effort they put into building their family, Chase might feel he has no choice but to protect Phoebe from the chaos Brooklyn is creating. This development feels like a natural but heartbreaking progression. Brooklyn's obsession with covering up her mistake from that drunken night is only making things worse. The evidence she and Lucy planted looks weaker by the day, and her growing fixation is creating new complications that she cannot control. I have seen this pattern before on the show. When fear takes over, characters make one bad choice after another until the whole world comes crashing down. I keep asking myself, can Brooklyn's marriage survive this? My honest opinion is that it is failing fast. She is losing Chase with every step she takes to protect herself. The new explosions in the plot suggest that her attempts to hold everything together are only accelerating the collapse. Chase arresting Brooklyn? That possibility sends chills down my spine, yet it feels entirely possible given his sense of justice. He has always upheld the law, and if he learns the full truth about her fleeing the scene after nearly hitting Jordan, he may have to act as an officer first and a husband second. That internal conflict will create some of the most powerful scenes we have seen in years. Tracy, of course, is backing this risky plan because that is simply who she is. Her judgment has led the family astray many times, and supporting Brooklyn's scheme against Willow is another example. She thinks she is protecting her granddaughter, but I believe she is only making the coming disaster bigger. The cover-up was shaky from the start, and now with Chase's investigation likely to uncover everything, the new adjustments are turning this into a full-blown catastrophe for Brooklyn. Her obsession is blinding her, and the fragile evidence is falling apart right before our eyes. It is fascinating to watch, even as my heart aches for everyone involved. Willow deserves so much better. She has already faced enormous pain, and being framed like this could either break her or make her stronger. I suspect Chase's support will bring them closer, perhaps even leading to moments of real emotional connection. That possibility adds another layer of tension to Brooklyn's crumbling world. As a longtime viewer, I appreciate how the writers are weaving these relationships together. It reminds me of the classic eras of General Hospital, where family loyalty, love, and betrayal collided in spectacular fashion. Still, I hold out hope for some redemption. Brooklyn has grown tremendously, and I do not want to see her lose everything: her husband, her chance at motherhood, and her freedom. Yet the current direction, with Chase potentially taking custody of Phoebe and even having to arrest his own wife, points toward a devastating new chapter. This is the kind of high-stakes drama that keeps me coming back after all these decades. The explosions keep coming, the obsessions deepen, and the disasters feel closer with every episode.